won their second. How will they fare this afternoon?
Wait.
Welcome to Auckland Park. Welcome to a perfect picture match and a very fantastic matchup between Mozambique and Angola in the COSAFA Under-17 Championships. Mozambique and Angola have the distinct honor and pressure, of course, of closing out the weekend's events and conclude day 5 of this competition. As for this match, it is arguably the pick of the bunch. It's generated ample intrigue and has unquestionably whet the appetite. And this is the warm-ups earlier on before they delve deep into a very fervent battle, Mozambique and Angola. So the Total Energies Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations COSAFA Qualifiers has been nothing short of enthralling. Some teams, some young stars have been paralyzed by the pressure, while others have certainly flourished under the COSAFA limelight on this massive stage that these young stars are trying to shine brightly on for their nation. By each passing day in this tournament, greater and grander goals and performances have been afforded to us all by only the best and brightest bunch the Southern African region has to offer. There's quite a bit of cloud cover yesterday that seems to be on show again this afternoon, just to quell some of the scorching heat that the players have had to deal with over the last few days. Mozambique won their last tie in absolutely miraculous fashion with a wonderful strike in virtually the last 25 seconds or so to claim a maximum result, 3 points against Lesotho, which puts them on 4 points, level on points of course with Angola, who drew to Malawi last time out. 1-0 result against Malawi, the same result that Mozambique also sustained. So the fight for regional supremacy and under-17 AFCON qualification brings forth so much pressure and so much angst for these young players. And it is in tournaments like this one that young players truly start to get accustomed to the undeniable pressure of international football. It's a bit of a training exercise as well for when these under-17s cross over the bridge into the senior domain in a few years' time, or so they hope. And these are the young mascots and the flag bearers. Might we see some of these young lads in action as the years go by in the next under-17 COSAFA Championship, as we wait for the players to make their way out onto the field of play. Mozambique and Angola, two undefeated, fully charged outfits, will soon knuckle down and throw down for the prize of first place in Group A and really cement their place in the semi-final stage. Mozambique and Angola have both captured one victory and have also shared the spoils of victory once before in this competition. What has fate planned for them this afternoon? The Mozambicans and their Angolan counterparts have injected unbridled entertainment into this competition, and from a neutral's standpoint, they have been a joy to watch and an absolute joy to call. But before they lock horns on the football field, it's time for them to sing their national anthems with a lot of pride and passion.
Ladies and gentlemen, may we all please stand for the national anthem, starting with Mozambique. And now the national anthem of Angola.
Mozambique and Angola will very soon close out the weekend show. But who will ascend to top spot in Group A? It's in the nature of both Mozambique and Angola to not play for draws. So therefore, as the old combat sports adage goes, someone's O has got to go this afternoon. In short and sweet tournaments like this one, squads are stretched to the maximum and injuries can so quickly overwhelm. But in the case of Mozambique, Luis Manuel Guerrero has made not one single change to his starting 11 from the meeting with Lesotho, which hints at their intent to finish at the top of Group A. Angola's front three, together with their shrewd operators in the middle of the park, are without doubt their biggest and baddest weapons. Diaz, Luvumbo, Eliseo Francisco, Capitao, Muanya, Lucas, Manuel, Dalla, Vicente, Baptista all start once more for this attack-orientated Angolan outfit. And because of the nature of the tournament, the format and the stakes, this match has the feeling of a bit of a quarter-final, although it is still a simple group match on paper. Mohamedi Tabalogang of Botswana last took charge of a match on this pitch on Thursday when Comores clashed with Mauritius. And he shall take charge of this match whilst being assisted by colleagues from Botswana, Lesotho and Namibia. And the four officials are joined in the halfway line by the two captains, Makombe as well as Lucas. One centre half being the captain for Mozambique and the midfielder for Angola. Three teams present. The officiating team also counts, led of course by Mohamedi Tabalogang of Botswana. So if you were wondering, Angola are playing in the white strip this afternoon, Mozambique in the red. And let's see how this one shall unfold. Mozambique and Angola are not to know what may unfold tomorrow afternoon. Things are far from being sealed and simple. All that they can do is simply control the controllables, control their performance, and only then will their future reside in the Final Four. But they'd like to keep things simple, not play for a draw, play for the maximum results, go up to 7-point mark and ascend to #1 spot in Group A. We're just a few seconds away from impact between Mozambique and Angola. Last time out, Angola had to share the spoils of victory with Malawi, so they'll be very eager to capture all the spoils this afternoon. All eyes on that man, Mr. Tabalogang of Botswana. Whistle to the mouth, has a look at his clock, and he's teasing us all. The players' engines are purring. Everyone is rearing to go, except for the referee. Here we go, Mozambique up against Angola, and it's Angola that kicked this contest off with Luvumbo, who did score in their last clash against Malawi. It was a wonderful header after a wonderfully worked team move. Here's Salema of Mozambique. He commits an early foul. The University of Johannesburg have been marvelous hosts of this competition. Of course, both here in Auckland Park and at the top of Johannesburg and in Soweto. Compared to day one of this competition, the pitch is perhaps not as green, not as lush, but the surface is still quite smooth and very well maintained from the groundsman. Here's Lucas. Exceptional through ball from Lucas, although initially just had too much on the pass, and the flag was raised in any case. There's Eliseo Francisco, did score Angola's first goal in this competition against Lesotho in the first half, and what a beautiful curler it was from outside of the box. It was some way to open his account and to open the account of his country in this competition. In fact, that first match between Angola and Lesotho was the COSAFA Under-17 Championship opener. And Angola started the party off in absolute style. Here's Matimbe. And don't forget that Mozambique were the recipients of a late, desperately late equalizer by Malawi, but they scored a late equalizer themselves against Lesotho. And he'll also have to produce a big showing this afternoon against the tough opposition, Roroge. Initially planned to form part of that Mozambican midfield, although he can filter in the wing regions, maybe even closer to Linho and Charifo. Solid work from Baptista. For Mozambique, Linho, Charifo, Salema and Abner Balane, their front four, their attacking quartet, will be itching for a goal contribution in this mega meeting. The type of contribution that will give them the world of confidence for when they enter the semi-final stage, if they do so, of course. It's still a little bit too early to tell and to be assured in that assumption. Kua was fouled in that instance for Mozambique. Cedric now for the men in red. Roroge opens up the angle, opens up his body, goes back to the center half, and Gome, who's playing on the left-hand side of the defense together with Kua. On the other side, it's of course Makombe and Cedric. As Gelson Dalla wouldn't have been too happy with the manner in which he conceded against Malawi, because it was from a free kick, a direct free kick, should I say. Charifo doesn't reach Charifo, and it's absolutely pummeled clear from Makombe. So the current lay of the land in Group A is Angola, are currently first with 4 points, tied of course with Mozambique, and these two nations have the exact same goal difference. Malawi are currently third with 2 points, and Lesotho dead last with nothing to their name just yet, although Lesotho have been mightily impressive against both Mozambique and Angola, and they were very unfortunate not to at least accumulate a point against one of these two sides, had their hearts broken by the Mozambicans. So will they recover today against Malawi over in Soweto? We'll keep you up to date with that match. But focus remains on this contest with Mozambique and Angola, and it's an Angolan free kick. It was a free kick routine that was probably trained on the training pitch, but it's quite different to try and pull that off when it counts the most, when it matters the most, in the real deal, in a real occasion this one is between Mozambique and Angola. Baptista. Here's Capital. Not the greatest of starts for Roroge. Maybe just clipped his hand. But like most Mozambican attackers and midfielders, Roroge has really played with a lot of confidence, a lot of youthful exuberance. That's a really good ball. Good flick on from Luvumbo. Good thinking, good intelligence. Just couldn't quite flick it on into the back of the net. Just to remind you that between the two posts, Kuku is in between the posts for Mozambique, and Gelson Dalla is in the post between Angola. Both of the goalkeepers have also played really well throughout the tournament. Haven't really made unforced errors so far. We've seen a few of those throughout this competition, but Kuku and Gelson Dalla have been incredibly solid, nearly faultless so far. But it's a unique kind of battle, this one. Luvumbo nearly got the better of Makombe. But in the end, Makombe did just enough to fend off Luvumbo, who is in good goal-scoring nick for Angola. And Mozambique are a little bit too leisure-like in their attempts to play through the lines and play out from the back. Cedric, that's not great either from Ivan Manuel. One play in the box. It's going to be the first corner kick of the game after that cross from Lino was deflected out from an Angolan defender. It's perhaps the kind of injection Mozambique needed in this clash. Cleverly just knocked it beyond Ivan Manuel. And he did really well there, did Lino. He was quite unlucky not to score against Lesotho. And he soldiered through numerous challenges, numerous injuries. Roroge, excellent ball from Roroge. The corner perhaps just didn't have enough juice on it. Vicente to Raimundo. The Mozambican bench thought that ball trickled out of play, and that's exactly what Luis Manuel Guerrero is telling the fourth official. Saw this Mozambican team actually watch the ladies' side yesterday, supporting the ladies in their endeavor to qualify for the semi-finals. Luvumbo is fouled right in front of the linesman on the near-hand touchline. And Gomez just simply saying that it should have been a simple throw-in. It's going to be another Angolan free kick from a similar position from just a few minutes ago. And there's the man that Angola have been tasked to beat. Cuckoo in goal for Mozambique. And in charge of this free kick for Angola is a player by the name of Capital. It's touched first though from Baptista, then Capital puts it in there, puts it in the mix. Makombe gets his head to it first. And Mozambique are exceptionally quick to exit their own penalty box, to exit their own half. And that's a great piece of skill, great piece of footwork. But the pass needs a little bit to be desired. Here's Raimundo. It's gorgeous stuff from Raimundo. And a good sliding challenge from Abner Belane. Mwanya, nearly dispossessed, but he does well to keep a hold of the ball. Lucas, through the middle. Now Matimbe, looking to restore some calm in the middle of the park for Mozambique. Here's Charifo though, big chance, big moment. And the goalkeeper, Jalson Dala, rises to that big moment. And keeps his team in the contest, keeps it at a level pegging. A wonderful switch that nearly was to Eliseo Francisco. Was trying just to sneak in behind. This was the warm-ups earlier on. They did practice a few set pieces, did Angola, in the warm-ups, together with a few direct free kicks. That's more individual based. And some of those balls did end up in the back of the net. As for Luvumbo, as I mentioned, scored a wonderful header last time out against Malawi, which actually served as an equalizer. And after he equalized, with about half an hour to go against Malawi, you would have expected Angola to go on and kick on and maximize points, but it wasn't meant to be. Ivan Manuel meets it well in the air. 10 minutes gone, no opener as of yet between Mozambique and Angola. Luvumbo fulfills his target man role quite nicely. Makua is a very sturdy, very shrewd operator at left fullback. And Makua will have to watch the likes of Eliseo Francisco, Capital, and even Baptista when he charges on the overlap. And here is Alessio Francisco. A great player to watch on his day, but will today be his day for Angola? Cuckoo told to take the ball back to its mark. Launches one, does Cuckoo. Goes for goal, actually, maybe. It's going to count for a shot on target, I think. Nearly something absolutely spectacular and something so jaw-dropping from Cuckoo. Well, his own player did the blocking there. Cedric unable to get his cross and falter in his cross into the box. And Angola will look to pounce on a half chance. Capitao, then Alessio Francisco. Not a bad attempt. The strike just didn't have perhaps enough venom. But a good attempt nonetheless for Alessio Francisco. His goal against Lesotho was marvelous by the mere fact that his backlift wasn't that high and he still managed to curl the ball into the top right-hand corner. He'll be hoping for something much similar. Perhaps a few things, a few goals this afternoon. Mozambique are on the charge again with Charifo. It's passed back though. Not exactly the most convincing clearance from Gelson Dalla. And it's picked up on by Roroge. And then it's also pumped out from Raimundo. So the state of Group A makes for very interesting reading, and there's quite a few permutations to consider. If one of these sides win this match, and Malawi win their match against Lesotho, then Mozambique or Angola may just suffer from group stage elimination. If this match ends all square, then Mozambique and Angola will both have a very good shot of entering the final four. But it also depends on what, of course, happens with Malawi against Lesotho, and also what happens tomorrow in Group B and C. It will be the final day of the group matches before the semi-finals will kick on into life on Wednesday afternoon, and the grand final of this competition will take place on Friday. But the fulfillment of every great dream starts with a simple step, and this is the third step, the third match for both Mozambique and Angola. And it's arguably their most significant, consequential match yet. He nibbled there to Diaz. And he nibbled well. Cedric, the guilty party, giving away that free kick. Was very defensively sound in Mozambique's last duel against Lesotho, who did have their opportunities to score against Mozambique. It's a well-taken free kick, this one, from Angola. Final product, in the end, just lacking from Raimundo. He's been quite active so far. It's not the first time that they've tried that from the free kick. One player just touching it and then another choosing to drive on with it. It's a little bit unconventional and not traditional, but that's the kind of play that will take Angola through into the semi-final stage. Here's Alessio Francisco hugging the touchline. Lucas Luau. Lucas is fouled, but the referee called it back a little bit further back. There was a few tackles that were made in succession there. A few pullbacks. And Angola are really starting to rack up these set-piece opportunities, although they aren't really very close to the penalty area of Mozambique. Well, they try something similar from this free kick. This time they go more direct, so they're mixing things up quite nicely, Angola. It's going to fall to Raimundo again. Does well, does Raimundo. Makes space for the cross. The touch is a disappointing one from Vicente. You don't blame him, he is a centre half, and it's always tricky for centre halves when they find themselves in the opposition's box. It's not exactly their trade to produce delicate touches and to put the ball into the back of the net. They do their job on the other side of the football field. Strong header again from Raimundo. Very positive start from the left fullback from Angola. And he's also sometimes even drifted into the center of the field. Sometimes he's even stayed out wide. And after facing and dealing with so many Angolan free kicks in the opening quarter of an hour, Mozambique have one of their own. It's Raimundo in the way. Then Lucas, and then Vicente puts it out of play. And Makua ventures up to take this throw-in for Mozambique. Close to scoring a goal, in fact, against Lesotho, if it wasn't for that heroic block from Hlojeng. Partially cleared from Angola, partially cleared from Ivan Manuel. And then it's eventually gotten rid of by Vicente. Now Salema to Cedric for Mozambique, chops it back. But he's watched by Lucas and he's fouled by Lucas. He's the type of presence that Angola definitely do need in the middle of the park. But he was a little bit too overzealous, a little bit too over keen. Oh, we've seen a few direct free kick goals in this championship so far in both the men and ladies segment. Are we about to bear witness to another free kick spectacular? It's going to take something rather special to defeat Cuckoo from that range, just because of the angle and of course the distance as well. The clouds have gathered over this contest on top of this copy. Decent attempt, really decent attempt, but good goalkeeping from Cuckoo. Covered his ground nicely and closed the window that was present. Diaz gives chase here for Angola. Comes off the corner flag and then out for a corner kick for Angola. So they turn defense into attack in rapid fashion. Just a few seconds ago this happened. And then Cuckoo launched it up. And now Angola have got a corner kick. First real meaningful stop of the game so far from Cuckoo. He also needs a little bit of a warm-up. Corner kick then. And in swinging delivery for Angola to attack. Cedric gets it clear for Mozambique. That was a brave header. And there's an Angolan player down in the 6-yard box. Tarifo wanted some support. That support arrived a little bit late in the form of Salema. Makua loves to venture down this left flank. And he did so again. There's Raimundo popping up all over the field of play. Started out at left full back, then played a little bit in the midfield, and now he's at right full back. Roroge gives the ball away. But he's presented with another opportunity as Roroge. Here's Lino. That's a good ball and pick out from Lino. The free kick goes the other way. Now, there was a late change in the Mozambican lineup. That man, Levanor Timbe, the man that scored that spectacular goal and winner against Lesotho in the dying embers with only seconds left on the clock to give Mozambique their first 3 points, starts this game for Mozambique. So Luis Manuel Guerrero has in fact made at least one change to his charges. Levanor Timbe definitely deserved a start after producing that absolute showstopper. And you just feel as if this match is simmering on the surface. Either one of these two teams are really yet to step on the gas. There's an offside, but the ball was not going to reach Charifo in any case. Kuku. He's got a massive boot on him, and it's no surprise that his target is Luvumbo, who is so adept at dealing with and battling with aerial balls. Here's Jelson Dala though. Matimbe can't combine with Charifo. It is two up top for Mozambique, Lino and Charifo. And then Timbe and Saleme are operating on either flank. Jelson Dala goes to ground outside of the field of play. Perhaps just landed a little bit awkwardly. Or he's trying to force a yellow card, one of the other. Oh, there's no need. There's no need for Luvumbo to go in there. There's no need to make that challenge when the ball exits the field of play. Jelson Dala, A-OK. Here's Makua. Dealt with by Vicente, might just have some more work to do. Makua ventures up again down this left flank to take charge of this throw-in. Jelson Dala asking for calm. Corner kick. Eliseo Francisco, the right winger, doing some defending for Angola. And they take it quickly. They've taken us all by surprise, have Angola. They've got a throw in here. Makua. Plays it short again to Roroge. Good shift from Roroge. Then hangs it up. It's a good delivery. Makombe for Mozambique. Drives. And drives just wide. Levano Timbe actually scored from a similar range. And the Mozambican captain thought, why not? Let me have a hit when it reached his feet. No Angolan player was really pressing him enthusiastically. So it was definitely up for the taking. And the ball just swerved the wrong way. The way that Makombe wasn't hoping it to swerve. Difficult ball there that Raimundo had to deal with from Lucas. Luvumbo does well. Capital. Makombe can't get a hold of it. But Timbe certainly can for Mozambique. He's a player that's on cloud 9 currently after his spectacular goal the other day. He tees it up, and there's a mix-up there between two Mozambican players, Roroge and Salema. And then the Angolan captain is rolling around on the turf. In fact, we have two players down on the turf, one of which being Angolan captain Lucas Luwawu. And just like Raimundo, who has been almost an energizer bunny for Angola in this match, running all over the field of play, Roroge has done something similar for Mozambique. He's definitely been afforded some kind of free roaming role by Luis Manuel Guerrero. And this is what caused Lucas's discomfort. I think he was just trotted on in the wrist or the hand. Be it as it may, Angola have some defending to do. Mozambique seek an opener. Great ball in. There was a shove in the box. And the referee had his magnifying glasses out. Spotted the infringement. Time for a water break. A much needed break, one would think. It's been quite a cagey affair so far between Mozambique and Angola. It's been a game riddled with free kick opportunities. So it might just be a game that will hinge upon how well their set pieces will operate this afternoon. In Group A, its permutations and unpredictable nature has already been established. But what about the other groups? Zambia are in firm control of Group B, while Namibia and Zimbabwe are locked on 3 points apiece. As for Group C, South Africa are sailing along nicely, while Botswana won their first match of the tournament yesterday against Mauritius. It was the 12 p.m. kickoff. As for this one, we don't expect rain, although there's a 13% chance of precipitation. More humidity today than there was yesterday afternoon, and not a lot of wind. And don't be fooled by the cloud cover. It is still very hot outside. But conditions that the Mozambicans and the Angolans are most assuredly used to. So it's still scoreless between Mozambique and Angola after we reached the first cooling break. And the referee just indicates to Luis Manuel Guerrero, you've had your chance now to lend some tactical information, some tactical tweaks. It's time to delve deep into the contest once more. Moemameri Tabalogang has some problem, I think, with his equipment. And engages a bit with the linesman on the far side of the field. The man from Botswana, his fellow countryman, of course. Here we go again with Gelson Dala. He's yet to gain a clean sheet in this competition. Gelson Dala, though Cuckoo only has one. Ngome. We saw him step into the midfield with regularity against Malawi as well as a little bit against Lesotho. But he's currently just occupying the centre half space. Charifo. And then Lino, now Salema, he loses out. Here's Baptista for Angola. Baptista is fouled right in front of the Angolan technical area, who nearly went up in arms. First yellow card of the contest then, given to Salema. Just mistimed his challenge completely. And the referee was quick to book him. Samuel Salema into the referee's black book. So he'll have to walk a tightrope for the remainder of this contest. Baptista plays a little nice 1-2 with Eliseo Francisco. And that's a shaky clearance from Matimbe, but it does the job. Came off his thigh region and then went out of play for another Angolan corner kick. But for the first time, this corner kick will be taken from the near side. And in charge of this free kick is Capitao. He plays it short to Raimundo, who might just even go for goal, you know. And nearly kicks it out of UJ. So the winners of this group, whether that be Angola, Mozambique, or even Malawi, are poised to face the best runner-up, which could be one of those three teams I mentioned in this group. But if either one of Zimbabwe, Namibia, or Botswana win big, then they could become semi-final participants. There's also a world, as I've mentioned before, that Mozambique and Angola lock horns again on Wednesday in the semi-finals. But that would probably mean that this should end in a draw. But I doubt that these two nations will be playing for a draw. Here's Vicente. Baptista, that's a poor giveaway from Baptista. Matimbe. And now Charifo. Now Lino. Could break here for Mozambique and for Timbe. He was frustrated by the intervention of the referee's whistle. Quite a number of players have that spider tech tape around their legs. You would really hope that no injuries surface, especially with the semi-finals looming large. And I think the linesman just got it right. There's a massive clearance from Mukombe. He's a centre-half that likes to keep things simple, more of an old-school defender from the previous generation, forming part of the younger, booming generation. Baptista, full of endeavour. Eliseo Francisco tries something intricate. Gelson Dalla thought twice about kicking the ball out of his hands, earns a few yards, reaches the feet of Lucas Luwawu. Diaz loses out to Cedric. And Cedric was in a good contest with Ngoko of Lesotho in their last clash. And for the most part, he got the better of the Lesotho attacker. Shut him down. So far in this one, Mwanya trying to set Eliseo Francisco off. Nearly did so for Angola. Akua as well initially, and then loses out. That's a nice flick from Luvumbo to Eliseo Francisco. Two players with style and so much grace. The move not effective. The attack comes to an end for Angola, and the attack could start now for Mozambique. They just seem to be rushing things a little bit. They rushed things against Lesotho in the first half and then slowed things down in the second period, knocked the ball about, waited for the perfect opportunity to strike, and the perfect moment to strike was when 30 seconds were left on the clock. So it's all about patience and prudence in cup affairs. Roroge for Mozambique, lifts it over the top. Timber gives chase. 3 Mozambican players in the box. Good recovery. Exceptional recovery, in fact, from Lucas Luwawu. Mozambique experiencing most of their success down the right-hand side. Will that continue? Gola might even tell Raimundo to go back to the opposite side just to silence a few of those Mozambican attackers, especially Timbe. Luvumbo is seeking just to get those combination plays working. Luvumbo is a wall that the likes of Eliseo Francisco and Diaz are trying to play off of. Worked against Malawi, certainly worked against Lesotho. Question is, will it work against Mozambique, who are a little bit more physical? A lot more physical, actually. And Baptista has almost been more in the half of Mozambique than he's been found in his own half. He's one of those modern-day fullbacks that likes to play as close to the winger as possible, or maybe even function as a winger. Kuku towards the edge of the box, towards Lino. Luvumbo wanted Eliseo Francisco to get on his bike. Stuck in the mud though. Lucas had his eyes on it, waited for it to drop. These two sides playing some beach soccer for now, some head football. Lucas, that's a good line splitting pass from Lucas. Then the pass from Mwanya nearly made its way through. Possession exchanging hands quite frequently in the last 5 minutes or so. That's another late challenge from Matimbe, who needs to be careful. One Mozambican player has already been booked, a player by the name of Salema, wearing the number 8. Matimbe will certainly not want to join his colleague. And it did come off Diaz last there of Angola, so good call by the referee and the linesman to give a goal kick to Gelson Dalla. So only one save has been made so far in this game. One save from Gelson Dalla, and it was a simple save in that. As for Kuku, he's yet to be called into action. Lucas has been involved and in the mix of those 50-50 duels that he most often wins so far. Makua to Roroge. Roroge breezes past Eliseo Francisco. He tries to win it back, and so he does. That's good determination on show from Eliseo Francisco. And then proceeds to give the ball away. Makombe here to Ngome. Ngome finds Roroge with relative ease. Kua. It's a clever pass. Roroge. His ball into the box. Lacked the necessary elevation. Look at Luvumbo here, lurking with intent. It's wise defending from Makombe. He's wary of the threat of Luvumbo behind his back. And did the wise thing. Look at that stellar pass from Makombe. Lands right at the feet of Roroge. And he may even take this free kick after delivering that wonderful pass. Mozambique are going to make a change here. I don't know if it's because of a niggling injury, but Lino will be replaced by Sekou Kante, who played the last few minutes against Lesotho, and he's actually more of a midfielder, whereas Lino is leading the line for Mozambique. So it might just hint at a tactical reshuffle, formation change for Mozambique. Charifo might be the new man to lead the line, whereas Sekou Kante will just slot in behind. So a 38-minute shift from Lino comes to an end. Free kick then, taken short by Matimbe. Good block from Lucas again. He's led from the front for Angola so far. As for Makombe, the other captain, he was dispossessed. Solid stuff once more from Matimbe. And Gelson Dalla, quick off his goal line. He's raised his flag quite frequently in this match so far. Quite a few of the offsides have racked up against Mozambique. Massive offside there. One that he was surely never going to miss. Makombe, lovely Cruyff turn. As Ngome nearly ran into trouble, and he was forced to just stab the ball out of play. Baptista ran very quickly to collect that ball to take the throw in. Throws it short. It's good footwork from Baptista. He wanted to win a free kick. And so he has for Angola in a very promising position on the field. It's a bit of a clumsy foul from Charifo. Not a lot in it, but you can't leave a leg wandering when Baptista is so wise, such a crafty player. Capital. Decent delivery. It wasn't really an Angolan player that was stretching his limb. Here's Roroge. Can't bamboozle Baptista. Eliseo Francisco will look to set Angola off. Muanya turns in the middle of the park. Goes to Baptista again. The ball is visiting his flank more regularly now. Baptista puts his head down, goes to the byline, and drills the ball too close to the goalkeeper. But good attack nonetheless from Angola. Baptista, every time he gets the ball, really wants to get forward. Cuckoo. We've almost reached the end of the first half. And might we bear witness to the first goal in this game? A goal right now would change the complexion not only of this match but of the group as well. Sekou Kante already involved. Already involved against Capital. Makombe. We saw Mozambique take a short free kick from this position a few minutes ago. This one will go directly into the box, or not so. It's a bit of a shank from Makombe, but it works out to be not that bad. There's Makuakua. He's offside again. Mozambique just can't seem to help themselves. Offside after offside. Yesterday's 3 matches at this ground yielded a whopping 8 goals. The ladies kick-started the show, while the boys category also afforded up a boatload of untamed youth football action. Day 4 of this competition belonged to South Africa, Botswana, Namibia and Zambia. But who will become the main talking points after day 5? Will it be Mozambique or will it be Angola? Charifo gives chase. Gelson Dala steps out of his box and delivers a really good ball to Diaz. Route 1 stuff from Angola. Much needed block from Ngome. Mozambique caught off guard on that occasion. When they appeared to be favorites to launch the counter-attack, Angola decided, no, we're going to launch one of our own. Eliseo Francisco. It's actually Capital who gives the signal. Raimundo has come short, but he goes into the box. Does Capital? Luvumbo nearly got on the end of that cross. Made a run from deep and nearly scored another header for Angola in this tournament. But he's going to have to outjump a very tall back line, is Luvumbo. Charifo. It's great play from Charifo. And that time Timbe was onside, but the ball didn't reach him. Eliseo Francisco opts to drop the shoulder and dart on the outside. 2 battles between the two, and number 18, Sekou Kante, the substitute that came on for Linho in the 39th minute. Just clipped Eliseo Francisco. And we saw a yellow card being dished out to Salema not too long after. And on that occasion, Sekou Kante was quite fortunate to escape the referee's wrath. Two minutes has usually been the go-to in terms of stoppage time after the first half in most of the matches during this COSAFA Under-17 Championship, and 2 minutes have been added on to this contest. It's no surprise that Mozambique and Angola are level on points in Group A, considering how evenly contested this match has been. Baptista. Here's Mwanya stepping in for Angola. Diaz, this time playing his stuff on the right-hand side, not the left. Capital, his pass doesn't reach Luvumbo. Here's Lucas though, he'll leave that one for Eliseo Francisco. I think it's the wide choice. Beautiful nutmeg from Francisco, but he won't get past the Mozambican captain Makombe, who doesn't waste any time. Great volley clearance from Gelson Dala, and a great pass as well from Dala. He's been a great watch as the man in purple, the goalkeeper of Angola, and he started this attack for them. Baptista, good ball into the box, opportunity here then perhaps for Eliseo Francisco. Just goes beyond him as he looks to get the better of Cedric, who concedes a corner kick. So with 10 seconds, should I say, to go of this first half, this will be the last chance for either team to nail in the opener. The delivery from Muanya needs to be on the money, perhaps needs to be on the head of Luvumbo or Ivan Manuel or even Vicente, maybe even Lucas Luwabu. Those are his 4 targets. Muanya misses everyone, evades everyone, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the first half will end from the UJ-AW Miller Stadium. The 2 top teams in Group A have cancelled one another out. It's been a game, as I said, that has been riddled with free kick chances, corner kick opportunities, but neither side have really been able to truly and thoroughly test the opposition's goalkeeper. Unforgiving conditions, unforgiving competition, but Mozambique and Angola have done well to keep their respective clean sheets intact. It's a fair scoreline after the first 45. It's Mozambique 0, Angola 0. The middle. Now Matimbe looking to restore some calm in the middle of the park for Mozambique. Here's Charifo though. Big chance, big moment. And the goalkeeper, Gelson Dala, rises to that big moment and keeps his team in the contest, keeps it at a level pegging. Correct, so they're mixing things up quite nicely, Angola. It's going to fall to Raimundo again. Does well, does Raimundo. Makes space for the cross. The touch is a disappointing one from Vicente. It's not exactly their trade to produce delicate touches and to put the ball into the back of the net. They do their job on the other side of the foot. Top of this copy. Decent attempt, really decent attempt. But good goalkeeping from Kuku. Just a few seconds ago, this happened. And then Kuku launched it up. And now Angola have got a corner kick. Roroge, good shift from Roroge. Then hangs it up. It's a good delivery. Makombe for Mozambique. Drives. And drives just wide. Levano Timbe actually scored from a similar range. No Angolan player was really pressing him enthusiastically, so it was definitely up for the taking. And the ball just, he's been a great watch as the man in purple, the goalkeeper of Angola. And he started this attack for them. Baptista, good ball into the box, opportunity here then perhaps for Eliseo Francisco. Just goes beyond him as he looks to get the better of Cedric. The delivery from Muanya needs to be on the money, perhaps needs to be on the head of Luvumbo or Ivan Manuel or even Vicente, maybe even Lucas Luwabu. Those are his 4 targets. Muanya misses everyone, evades everyone, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the first half will end from the UJ-AW Miller Stadium.
Ciao, adeu. See you later. See you later. Ciao, adeu. Adeu. Beijo, você de novo. Mas muito bom. Você amanhã. Friday. Vai. 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 Every day. Yeah. Vai. I can, my friend. I teach you. What do you teach me? English. Yeah. 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 No, I think I give me your number. Yeah. Addition, plus, two, four, four. Yes. Is the international code of Angola. Yes. International code of Angola. Yes. Yes. Or zero, 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 two, four. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you put,
but I got your number now.
but you put plus.
Yeah, 244.
Yes.
Yeah,
Two, four, four.
okay.
Yes.
I'll call you, my friend. Yeah. Come in there. We're gonna communicate WhatsApp. Yeah. Okay. WhatsApp. No, for sure. For sure. Wait, no way. I like to think I have pronunciation. No. Rodrigo Tremoco. My friend. This is my big boss. Yes. Orlando Dembo. Dembo.
Nelson. Oh, Nelson.
Nelson Mandela?
No. Nelson.
Hey, you came and tell him right. From the first time. Nice. go, 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 go. There's no time. 60 minutes.
And we are back live from the UJAW Miller Stadium for the final Group A collision between Mozambique and Angola. Two nations going toe-to-toe for top spot in Group A. As things stand, Angola will finish the group off with 5 points, Mozambique with 5 points as well. As for the other match in Soweto, Lesotho are currently in the lead against Malawi by 2-1, which actually means that Lesotho will move up to third spot in the group with 3 points, but they are already going to be eliminated. However, if Malawi can turn it around, and if this game turns out to be a draw, then 3 teams in this group will be stationed on 5 points. And that will be rather miraculous. And it'll definitely go down to head-to-head and then goal difference as well if 3 sides are level on 5 points in this group. And also to determine who finishes in that runners-up position, because if this game does turn out to be a draw, if Mozambique and Angola end on 5 points apiece and Zimbabwe beat Namibia tomorrow, Zimbabwe will have 6 points and then therefore finish second behind Zambia in Group B. Therefore Zimbabwe will progress as the best runner-up. So these two can't leave anything to chance. It's a massive 45-minute interval that lies ahead for these two sides. Ivan Manuel can't afford any sloppy giveaways, any lapses of concentration. Needs to be a near perfect display from both Mozambique and Angola. But you just feel as if something will give. Maybe someone will cave or someone will rise. Baptista. As Ngoma, as of now, it certainly does feel as if this match has got a 0-0 scoreline written all over it. Lucas Luwawu to Baptista. Produced a very fine display in that first half. And applies the pressure. Kuku helping it on into the sky. Mozambique exit their own half, courtesy of a long ball from Roroge. Diaz takes it down beautifully and then decides to take on Cedric. Still Diaz. Unrelenting in the challenge is Cedric. Won't budge, and he does well. Does the fullback. Makombe to Cedric. And then again gets the better of Diaz. Makombe went to ground there before the ball was launched by Cedric. And off your screen, he's still on the ground, is the Mozambican captain. Just in a little bit of discomfort. This is the coach of Angola, Domingos da Silva. And you may know that both nations, both teams actually speak Portuguese, so that means all cards are on the table for this match, and tactics can't be freely shouted because the opposition will know. That's probably why it's been 0-0 so far. As for the coach of Mozambique, Luis Manuel Guerrero, he's always watching on sternly and stoically. Good clearance from Lucas Luwawu. Here's Alessio Francisco. Couldn't do much, couldn't perhaps find that killer pass in the first half, something that he'll definitely try and do in the second stanza. They've huffed and puffed without really going full tilt, without really asking the meaningful attacking questions of Angola, and the same applies to Mozambique. 1-2 played there down the left-hand side. With 49.5 minutes or so on the clock, that man, Lucas Luwawu, is definitely a strong contender for man of the match, just by his sheer presence in the midfield and his ability to break up play, stop the opposition. Gelson Dala. Luvumbo is his target, remember. Luvumbo does make first contact. Alessio Francisco was not really willing to run in behind with a great deal of enthusiasm. So from one goalkeeper to the other. Cuckoo now for Mozambique. To the left flank. Roroge got lucky with that touch there. Worked out nicely for him and for Mozambique. Here is Roroge. And then Matimbe gets the pass wrong. Makua just about keeps it in. Actually does it brilliantly. Salema. Remember, he's the only player that has been booked in this match. His name is Sente, got the last touch on that one. Perhaps the second last touch, should I say. Yesterday's 3 p.m. kickoff results showcased how and why South Africa have had such a good record when they host the COSAFA Under-17 Championship. Every time Amajimbos have hosted this event, they've gone all the way to summit, to glorious qualification. But will that positive omen live on in 2024? Will one of these two sides look to put it to an end? The goalkeeper might be in the world of trouble, but he's saved by Mokombe. Cuckoo pulled a Gelson Dala on himself and exited his own penalty area. But unlike Gelson Dala, looked a little bit unconvincing. This frame on your screen is pretty as a picture, with the backdrop of Joburg CBD and young stars in front of us all, which is definitely a fantastic sight to see. And what could possibly be better? These two sides closing out the weekend show of the COSAFA Under-17 Championship, hoping to close out the weekend show with energy, with a goal, with a victory. Roroge, offside. Seemed to be from the naked vantage point. It's a little bit lazy from Roroge, had full view of the back line, so did the linesman. Probably should have gotten himself into an onside position, Roroge. Tough challenge from Sidrek. And then an even tougher one, an illegal one from Diaz. That's a nice little shift there from Sekou Kante. You don't need flamboyant skills as a midfielder. Chance then. And he hammers the turf in frustration. The Sekou Kante. Just a few seconds after being fouled, the ball fell in his path and he took it on. Remember that he was the man that replaced Ligno and fulfilled the role of CDM against Lesotho, but he's playing much closer to the front line today is Sekou Kante. And he might even get on the end of this ball if it's delivered from Timbe Roroge. Try something eloquent. Far from effective, and it drops for LSU Francisco. Luvumbo. And every time Luvumbo lays it off, he hardly ever gets it back from his teammates. It's a poor rollout from the goalkeeper, Gelson Dala. Here is Sekou Kante. Past one, past Ivan Manuel. Sekou Kante towards the far post. It's kept in. Really difficult ball for Levanor Timbe to make the most out of. And I don't think Timbe was the intended man. But that's a fantastic ball to Diaz from LSU Francisco. Diaz has isolated his marker and he decided not to take him on. There was a lot of traffic in the middle of the box. For some reason, Diaz looked to try and squeeze in a pass in that very congested penalty area. Like a handful of other COSAFA participants, Mozambique over the years have been sporadic participants. They are yet to win this competition, but they have indeed claimed the silver medal twice, and once was in 1994 when South Africa hosted the inaugural COSAFA Under-17 Championship. So Roroge is being helped out here. He's looked good in batches, in bits and bobs in this match, but he's also been guilty of a few sloppy giveaways. But he has played so much football for Luis Manuel Guerrero this year. And fatigue might slowly be starting to set in. And Luis Manuel Guerrero is going to use this opportunity to have a bit of a discussion with Roroge. And as soon as I say that, Angola are going to make a substitution. Omar Oliveira is desperate to come on and to produce an impact, to produce the opener, perhaps. He replaces Diaz, does Omar Oliveira. Kuku gets the go-ahead from the referee. Launches that one into the penalty area. Not the most convincing of punches from Gelson Dala. Here's Cedric, takes it down nicely. Angola just have enough bodies back to deal with that attack. Matimbe. Will that one spin out of play? Just does. Well, in fact, Cedric, in his attempts to keep it in, puts it out for a goal kick. Kombe came close to scoring against Lesotho. Had that one half chance in this match in the first half from a corner kick. And you just feel as though one of the centre halves, one of the defenders may even conjure up an opener. That's a clever bit of play from Ngome, just knocking it against the LSU Francisco to win the throw-in. Just to remind you that Lesotho are still currently in the lead against Malawi. They were very unfortunate not to capture a point against Angola late on, and of course against Mozambique, who did score a late phenomenal winner against them. So Lesotho really do deserve some points after a really good effort in this competition. Roroge back on the field of play. back to doing what he does best, and that's spreading passes. But Timbe just failed to keep it in. He came on as a central striker before he scored that winner on Thursday afternoon. This time, Livernoor Timbe's been forced to play as a left winger, an inverted left winger. Lucas Luwawu headed into open space. A little bit frustrated with himself. It's going to be a Mozambican throw-in. No, Angolan ball. Mwanya turns Matimbe, and then Mwanya goes to ground. Wants something more than just a free kick. Sekou Kante, the substitute, is going to be the second Mozambican player booked after Salema. So he can't make any more challenges like that one, and what else was he going to expect? Sekou Kante booked. Ivan Manuel here for Angola. The ball just holds up, so Angola seem to be playing against the wind in the second half. Although there's not a whole lot of wind present here on top of the copy. It's good stuff from Timbe. His block has allowed Mozambican to get some momentum. Momentum that's been stifled by Angola. Cuckoo. Strong chest from Ivan Manuel. Lucas loses out. It's pounced upon by Salema. And now over the top from Roroge. Perhaps these two sides are looking for that killer assist a little bit too early. If they are only able to string together a handful of passes and work their way through the lines, then a real opportunity may present themselves. But they're just forcing the issue a little bit too much, too soon. Baptista. Capitao. Capitao goes to ground. Capitao is back on his feet. Here's Lucas Luwawu, the captain for Angola. Ture Mundo, haven't seen too much of him in the second stanza. Was vibrant in the first half, he's vibrant now, and he's won a free kick. Sekou Kante needs to be very cautious. He was just booked a few moments ago. Mind you, he wasn't the one that made the challenge. He wasn't the one that went to ground. Matimbe did, and he's just pointing that I didn't cause that foul. My teammate did. So Matimbe. There's a third player booked for Mozambique. There is the confirmation of the yellow card for you. Celio Matimbe. 3 Mozambican midfielders have now been booked. So that might just force Angola to be a little bit more direct, take on their man. And in the meantime, Angola, their coach, Domingos da Silva, has made a substitution just before the free kick is going to be taken. Denzel Liyun comes on wearing the number 10. And the other substitute will, in all likelihood, take this free kick. Oliveira! Phenomenal save, but it's poked in to the back of the net. Angola find the opener. I said that this game was, in all likelihood, going to come down to how these two sides manage the set piece. And Angola have struck. It's a massive goal that changes the complexion of this match, changes the complexion of Group A. The goal scorer is Baptista, but all credits, all plaudits must go to Oliveira for testing the gloves of Jalsindala, of Cuckoo should I say. And Baptista will not score an easier goal in his entire career, that's for sure. Phenomenal free kick from Oliveira, touch from the goalkeeper, phenomenal save. And look at how hungry the Angolan players were. The Mozambican defenders were very staggered, stuck in the mud. Phenomenal save from Cuckoo in that Mozambican goal. Phenomenal hit from Oliveira. And the opener has finally been found. And it's definitely a goal worth celebrating because it takes Angola to the top of the standings. So the substitute definitely making a monumental impact for Angola. And now Mozambique are on the precipice of being eliminated from this competition. Mozambique need a goal. So remember, if Zimbabwe win their match and Angola see this one out, then Angola versus Zimbabwe will be one of the two semi-finals. Because of that goal, the coach of Mozambique, Luis Manuel Guerreiro, has turned to his bench. Kwesime comes on. This game was just cruising along in second gear, but now it's really been sparked into life. What an effort that was from Oliveira. Here he is again. Good ball from Oliveira to Raimundo. Tries to keep it in, tries to win a corner, succeeds in doing exactly that. Take nothing away from the challenge from Cedric, willing to put his body on the line. He's been willing to do so throughout this encounter. And he'll be really disappointed with his teammates. Cuckoo. Here's Oliveira again. Wonderful ball in towards Liyun. Kwesime challenges in the air. Challenges again. And then waits for it to drop. It's good stuff once more from Lucas Luwawu. His long limbs make him an exciting prospect. Speaking about exciting prospects, here's Oliveira. Good ball from Oliveira to Eliseo Francisco. Nearly scored his second of the tournament. Well, something has happened to Mozambique. As for Angola, they've been a lot more brave, a lot more bold, a lot more boisterous in their approach. Lucas Luwawu. Eliseo Francisco on the break, Luvumbo. Cedric to Roroge. Again, tries to force the issue. When the pass is not on, they're trying to make something happen when it isn't exactly there. Muanya, Oliveira, still Oliveira. He's quick, but he's not quick enough. Call of Sid. And we saw Malawi score a free kick goal against Mozambique. Mozambique and Oliveira nearly did so again, directly, but it was poked home into an empty net from Baptista. The difference maker so far between these two units. Can they conjure up an equalizer? It's probably the most dangerous, most threatening Mozambique have looked all match long. Makuakua, the left back of Mozambique, is playing a lot more advanced in the second half just because the game has changed, just because of that Baptista goal. '18 and 2021 were special years for the Angolan under-17 national team. They didn't return to the competition in 2022, so this year marks their long-awaited return. And just like the 11 other teams, the Angolans have a qualification thirst to quench. Roroge. Makombe. Cedric. It's too early for desperation from a Mozambican point of view, but they need to be a lot more precise and a lot more confident if they are to break their deadlock. Roroge just seems to be offbeat in the second half. Luvumbo does what Luvumbo does best. That's brilliant play from him. Raimundo. And the ball just swerved in the direction that he didn't want it to go. His intentions were, of course, to locate Alessio Francisco on the far side, who found himself in acres of space. And that's also a loosener from Cuckoo. And says sorry to his bench. And it seems like on the bottom left-hand side of your screen, as you can see, Luis Manuel Guerrero is trying to make another change, readying another substitution. He had a super sub rise to the occasion against Lesotho. He'll have to have another super sub now. And every time the ball will reach Gelson Dalla, he will eat away at a few valuable seconds, that's for sure. He'll take his sweet time whenever he possibly can. That's a good flick on from Luvumbo. Cuckoo gives it away again. It's very tricky for Salema and Sekou Kante to try and trap those passes. That expression from Cuckoo really tells you all you need to know from a Mozambican point of view. They've been off the boil in this contest. Liu now for Angola. It's sleek stuff from Angola, but that time around Oliveira just gets it wrong. Cuckoo. Much better from Cuckoo. But again, not the desired outcome for Mozambique. Timbe gives chase, and the goal scorer Baptista does well to keep the ball moving along in a forward direction for Angola. Leon. As Charifo opts to not keep it in within the field of play, but before that throw-in will be taken, time to be privy to another substitution. Michel Paquir.
Coming out is jersey number 8, Samuel Salima, and coming in is jersey number 10.
Was a substitute in the last game for Mozambique. Substitute once more. And he's actually replacing and taking the captain's responsibilities away from Makombe. Fakwir did sustain an injury against Malawi in the first group match for Mozambique. That's why he didn't start in the second game against Lesotho, where he actually came on as a substitute, and he was also substituted again. So it was a case of the substitute being substituted. And this is most definitely a very crucial passage of play, and that is why a water break has been afforded to the players due to conditions. But also it's definitely an opportunity for the coaches to shore things up. Remember, this current scoreline would see Angola ascend to the top of Group A with 7 points and qualify for the semi-finals outright as winners of the group and not as runners-up. Humidity has increased in the last few minutes, and the chance of rain has also increased as well. But I think by the time it rains here in Johannesburg, this match will be long gone. Now Matimbe will definitely be kicking himself, because after his foul, that happened. A wonderful free kick from Oliveira, which was nodded home from Baptiste. That could have literally been anyone. They were lining up. They were hungry for the goal, and they'll take that one. So as the players re-enter the fray, re-enter the battle, is there anything that will change? Is there another goal that will perhaps be scored? Mozambique need a goal in order to give themselves a shot, just a shot of qualifying for the semi-finals. They will need a favor from Namibia tomorrow if they draw this game, remember? Luvumbo challenges, but not according to the rules and laws of the game, as Mwanya goes to ground. And the referee tells him to get up. In fact, he's been lifted up by Ngome. The barest of touches on Mwanya. Decent ball in, good punch from the goalkeeper. The opportunity is still there for Oroge. Offside though. How many times has the offside flag stopped many promising attacks for both Angola and Mozambique? Both of the senior men's teams of Angola and Mozambique are heading to Morocco next year for AFCON 2025. And these two will be itching to follow in the footsteps of some of their homegrown heroes and qualify for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. But a lot of toil and heart is needed from here on out for the final quarter of an hour in this match. The Angolan senior men's side did qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations without losing a single qualifier this year, as a matter of fact. And they are likely to qualify for the semi-final stage without losing in the group stage of the COSAFA Under-17 Championship. And furthermore, about 5 months ago, along South Africa's eastern shoreline, the Mozambican and Angolan senior sides did progress out of their respective groups in the normal senior COSAFA Cup. But Mozambique stumbled and lost to Namibia in the semi-finals, while Angola found a way past Comoros into the final, where they absolutely decimated Namibia by a margin of 5-0. So can Angola achieve what the senior side achieved a few months ago, and that is to win this COSAFA Under-17 Championship? Cedric, or as his teammates call him, Sid, goes for goal. Well blocked by Lucas, who has been so often caught in the way. Luvumbo goes to ground. And there's no doubt that he wanted to curry some favor from the referee. But he does seem to be in a little bit of discomfort. Here's Timbe though for Mozambique. He's drifting with some enthusiasm. That's a little bit of a reckless challenge from Makombe. And then the whistle has been blown. I don't know if it was for the first or the second foul, if the referee called it back. Nonetheless, it is going to be an Angolan free kick. Heartless that time around with that challenge was Makombe. And as you can tell already, Angola are in no rush at all. Makua. Oroge here for Mozambique. Tries the pass he's been trying all game long. Gelson Dala puts it up into the sky. He has more than enough time to go back to his goal mouth. And it's put out of play from Lucas, after attempting to kick it in the other direction. Oroge There is the new captain, Kusime, to Cedric. Gets it past Leon. And there's a handoff there. Probably a step on the foot and a handoff. And the referee wants to have a further word with Fakwir. Lucas Luwawu is still on the turf. Remains to be seen if he's milking the situation, considering the scoreline, considering the stakes. And I don't think it was because of the handoff. I just think he stepped on the bridge of Lucas's foot. Did Fakwir. The yellow card has been dished out to Fakwir. Fourth player now to be booked for Mozambique. So unlike Mozambique, Angola don't have a ladies team present in the COSAFA Girls Under-17 Championship. But as for the Mozambican ladies outfit, together with the men's, they are really trying to progress into the semi-final stage. Although as of right now, the ladies team are more likely to do so unless Mozambique can cough up an equalizer. It's going to have to be another late one, another late goal from a Mozambican point of view. Timbe. Oh, Fakir goes to ground. He's already been nursing an injury throughout this tournament. Remember, he was taken off after being introduced in the last match. He was substituted just a few minutes ago. He might be substituted off again. And you really do feel for him because he's not the fittest and not the strongest he's been this year. In fact, he's been asked to play through an injury, which is a bit of a nightmare for a player. And he just rolls onto that stretcher. Does Fakwir. Michel Fakwir, after being booked, is unlikely to continue in this match for Mozambique. They'll have to do it without their normal captain, I think. Just such a shame to see. You hate to see a young man stretch it off like that, in that fashion, with that expression on his face. It's going to be a changer. Eduardo comes on for Eliseo Francisco for Angola. So a change in the wing position. It's worth noting that as for the state of the ladies competition, it is a whole lot tougher to predict than the men's competition currently, just because of the rise of two immensely talented dark horses, that being Lesotho and Madagascar. A dark horse in the men's segment is yet to come to the fore, although Zimbabwe could do so tomorrow afternoon if they claim a victory over Namibia. Leon. There's another hefty challenge there, and the referee has his eyes on it. Early contribution from the substitute, Eduardo. Actually might see him booked. Studs was showing he did get most of the ball, but you can't really go in that fashion and display your studs to the opposition. But you don't mind that kind of vigor. Lucas. One would think that a big defensive effort is going to be required from an Angolan perspective for what remains in this contest. Remember that only the very best of Africa's southern region is present at this prestigious event. Since the dawn of this competition in 1994, South Africa, Zambia and Angola are usually the most prevalent teams in the title picture, in the semi-final picture. Is that going to be a trend that will carry on this year in this very edition? Here comes Makua for Mozambique. Taken off his toes. We go, delivery into the box. That's good goalkeeping from Gelson Dala. Really good goalkeeping. Oliveira. Tough ball for Liyun to take under his control. Here goes Luvumbo though. Won't get there. Certainly won't get there ahead of Makombe. The host, South Africa, and defending champion Zambia were the last two COSAFA affiliated nations to have featured at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations. Remember, 2 of the 12 teams at this tournament will get that invitation to Cote d'Ivoire. And again, Mozambique, just like they did against Lesotho, are playing with a little bit more energy in the final few exchanges. They have a tendency to leave things late. That's just a disclaimer that needs to be put out there. Makua. It's parried from the goalkeeper. That could have literally ended up anywhere. But crucially for Angola, not in the back of their net. Just like what occurred on Thursday, only 2 men's matches were played and enjoyed today. But tomorrow, 4 fantastic fixtures shall be heading your way on a multitude of platforms. Over in Pimville, Soweto, Namibia versus Zimbabwe is the noon kickoff. And then shortly thereafter, Botswana versus Comores will take center stage. However, at this ground tomorrow, we can feast our eyes and enjoy 2 really exciting matchups and 2 teams that will have a chance to win their 3rd match in a row, and those 2 teams are Zambia and South Africa, the 2 other likely semi-final participants. But in the meantime, Baptista has been booked. Less than 5 minutes to go before we are able to ascertain how many minutes will be added on. Cuckoo has exited his goal now, exited his penalty box, exited his own half to take this free kick in the half of Angola. This match is most certainly delicately poised. It's all about the delivery from Cuckoo, and it's a good one. And the goalkeeper, Gelson Dala, I think just sustained a knock to the head, and the referee is obliged to stop play just because of a head injury. Possible head injury, that is. Makombe was offside, but his teammates, his fellow centre-half, Ngome, was certainly not. You know what, I think Makombe actually got the last touch on that cross in from Cuckoo. He's been an entertaining watch this afternoon, as Gelson Dala. Every time deliveries have been whipped into the box, he's exited his goal mouth with confidence, with good early calls and with assured punches. Raimundo was also played really well for Angola this afternoon, and he forced that mistake from Matimbe. And then from the resulting free kick, Oliveira saw his effort palmed onto the crossbar, and then it was tucked away. Simply so. So don't forget to set a reminder on your calendars for next week, Wednesday's very consequential day of reckoning. There won't be any matches on Tuesday in order for the 4 semi-finalists to rest, reset and prepare for the match of their lives. The match to decide who will go on to represent this southern region, to represent their country, their families at the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations, which will be staged next year. And of course, the finale will take center stage on Friday afternoon. And 2 years ago, in Malawi, Zambia, South Africa, Malawi and Botswana were the nations that formed part of the semi-final grouping. And all hints and performances are pointing to the fact that that list may be slightly altered in this year's version of the COSAFA Under-17 Championship. Angola are likely to re-enter into the semi-final grouping, especially if they can see this one out and produce their second victory from their 3 group matches. Unless Mozambique can come up with something special, come up with something late. They did so in stoppage time against Lesotho. It's going to go down to the wire. Delivery in, well repelled at the front post from Lucas. Definitely a man of the match contender. Charifo puts the ball into the box. Lucas again in the way for Angola. There's a deflection on that hit from Kwesime it was, and it's going to be another Mozambican corner. It's nail-biting stuff, a nail-biting grandstand finish. And that header goes well wide in the end. Nodded across the face of goal. Gelson Dalla relieved to see that one go across the face of goal.
Additional time, 5 minutes.
So just to remind you that in Group B, the current standings are Zambia on top with 6 points, Zimbabwe and Namibia are tied with 3 points each. So anything can happen tomorrow. And if Mozambique are to lose this one, they'll definitely need a favor, and they'll be watching tomorrow's proceedings with keen interest. 5 minutes have been added on here, almost a minute of which has been played already. 5 minutes were added on in the Friday afternoon clash between Mozambique and Lesotho. Here's Eduardo. He's won a corner kick for Angola, and that's what they need to do. They need to keep the ball in the half of Mozambique. Is it too early to play this corner short? And to play a round of rondos close to the corner flag? Because as long as Angola set up camp in Mozambique, as long as they play their football in this half, they will steer clear of harm's way. Eduardo, it's nodded wide. Not a bad delivery that was from Eduardo. Lucas. The amount of interceptions he's made, I've lost track. Gourmet. Vaquid is back on the field of play, which is good to see. And then Timbe. Good delivery in from Timbe. Questions asked of that Angolan backline, and they are holding firm for now. They are digging their heels in. All hands on deck for the man in white. Timbe. Still Timbe produced a moment of sheer unfiltered magic. He'll have to do so again for Mozambique to stand a bigger chance of progressing to the final 4. Here's Ngome, the centre half, finding himself in a very advanced position on the field of play. Kwesime. Roroge hangs it up towards the penalty spot. Cedric. Someone really needs to pull the trigger here for Mozambique. Luvumbo. He loses out. So does Leon. Chance then for Mozambique here. Can they force the equalizer? And it goes over the fingertips of Gelson Dala. Angola will end this match off on the ropes. Anywhere will do. It's attack versus defense to end this match off. All outfield players back for Mozambique. Sidrek closed down by Eduardo. Timbe, now the captain, Makombe. And now Fakwir. And I think with that, Mozambique have their hopes of claiming a point in this contest seep away. And slowly disappear. We are slowly approaching the final minutes, the final 60 seconds of this very important contest between Mozambique and Angola. Remember, before this match was ignited, both sides were undefeated in Group A. And Angola will definitely remain undefeated. But as for Mozambique, I said someone's O has got to go. And it seems like it's Mozambique's O that will soon revert into their first defeat. Ivan Manuel. 30 seconds to go here for Mozambique. Something special may very well arise. You know, Diaz for Mozambique! Oh my goodness gracious me, he's missed the glorious opportunity. A glorious opportunity to keep the undefeated record intact for Mozambique. It was a wonderful run from Diaz. Ivan Manuel was trying to recover. And it just about clipped the outside of the post. I think the side netting doesn't really matter. Wasn't on target, wasn't a goal for Mozambique. And with that, that should be that. Will he live to rue that missed opportunity? That is the end of the 90 minutes, the end of the final group clash. Angola have defeated Mozambique by 1-0, and Angola will be going into the semi-finals next Wednesday. As for Mozambique, they'll be watching tomorrow's match between Zimbabwe and Namibia with great intrigue. Mind you, I think in fact because of the goal difference, Mozambique have been eliminated from this competition. But it's difficult to say with certainty. It all really depends on tomorrow's happenings. But one thing is for sure, and that is Angola have defeated Mozambique, and Angola are going through into the semi-finals, and their hopes of qualifying for the Under-17 Africa Cup of Nations lives on because of a goal from Muwanya, a goal that he headed home from very close range, from virtually the goal line. And that's the full-time scoreline, a very important scoreline from the UJAW Miller Stadium. Mozambique 0, Angola 1. What a watch. What a way to end the proceedings of Group A. See you again tomorrow. It's been a wonderful watch, and thank you so much for tuning in. Luawu, the captain for Angola. Ture Mundo, haven't seen too much of him in the second stanza. Was vibrant in the first half, he's vibrant now, and he's won a free kick. Mind you, he wasn't the one that made the challenge, he wasn't the one that went to ground, Matimbe did. And the other substitute will, in all likelihood, take this free kick. Oliveira! Phenomenal save, but it's poked in to the back of the net. Angola find the opener. I said that this game was, in all likelihood, going to come down to how these two sides manage the set piece. And Angola have struck. The goal scorer is Baptista. But all credits, all plaudits must go to Oliveira. Phenomenal free kick from Oliveira. Touch from the goalkeeper. Phenomenal save. And look at how hungry the Angolan players were. The Mozambican defenders were very staggered, stuck in the mud. Phenomenal save from Cuckoo in that Mozambican goal. Phenomenal hit from Oliveira. And the opener has finally been found. His long limbs make him an exciting prospect. Speaking about exciting prospects, here's Oliveira. Good ball from Oliveira to Eliseo Francisco. Nearly scored his second of the tournament. As for Angola, they've been a lot more brave, a lot more bold. Charifo puts the ball into the box. Lucas again in the way for Angola. There's a deflection on that hit. From Kwesime it was, and it's going to be another Mozambican corner. Something special may very well arise. You know, Diaz for Mozambique! Oh my goodness gracious me, he's missed the glorious opportunity. A glorious opportunity to keep the undefeated record intact. It was a wonderful run from Diaz. Ivan Manuel was trying to recover, and it just about clipped the outside of the post. I think the side netting doesn't really matter.